So die is die hulle julle. So ek gaan my man gaan vragies beantwoord op Facebook gekry. So ek wil nie baie praat nie want dit gaan die tyd opvat. So die was die next vraag. Hy gaan vir julle die next vraag lees wat gevra was.
So this question is right down my alley. This is what I've been doing for the past 3 decades, going for 4 decades. Yeah. So the first question, so primary school and high school that you have in South Africa. In the United States, we've got 3 divisions. We've got elementary school, middle school, and high school. So elementary school is kindergarten through grade 5. Middle school is from grade 6 through 8th, and then high school is from grades 9 through 12. So those are how we divided. Because in South Africa, I taught in South Africa for about 17 years, and so I taught at the primary school level. So the upper, I would say, the upper primary school time would be upper primary school would be grades. So the upper part of primary school would actually be middle school, and so that's kind of how it is divided into. So ek gaan die ding weer oor doen. Ek het my distract met. Hey, good evening. This question relates to the profession that I'm proudly being part of for almost 4 decades. I just completed my 38th year in education. 17 being in South Africa and 21 being in the United States. So I've been teaching longer in the US than in South Africa. So in my time that I taught in South Africa, so we of course had primary school and high school. And the United States, we have 3 parts, which would be the elementary, the middle, and the high school sections. So since I've been teaching primary school, and when I got my teacher's license or teaching license, I'm licensed to teach elementary school. So I can teach anywhere from kindergarten all the way up to grade 5 at primary school. But so here is a technical part. My license is I'm licensed K8, but I cannot teach grade 6, 7, and 8 in middle school. However, if a school would have, and there are some schools who are constructed where they actually have kindergarten through grade 8, then I can actually teach at that school grade 6, 7, and 8. But if a school only goes up to grade kinder through grade 5, then I can only teach there in that section. But so the next question would be then, so with subjects. So in elementary, we have only 4 subjects. So 4 subjects would then be English and math, so we call it maths, and then social studies and science. So we call that the foundation stage like you would have in primary school. But we only have 4 subjects so that the kids can solidify the language and the math, because math and the languages are integrated into the subjects. So if the kids have a firm understanding of the principles of math and they're able to comprehend when they read, so typically we would say in the lower elementary, the kids learn to read, and upper elementary, they read to learn. So if you can read, you're able to comprehend social studies and science, because can apply the principles of those 2 components. So that's why we have 4. But when we get to middle school, then because now okay, I want to add something else to it. So they do subjects like, or they we have specials, which is we have some schools would have library. They go to the library for a period. Others would go to PE. Other schools would have and others called electives. And so when we get to middle school, then they actually would have a grade for those electives. But in elementary they do, but it's not a pass requirement for a kid, and it's basically the conduct when they go to music, when they go to PE or library or whatever other electives other elementary schools would have. So when they go to middle school, then they would have those electives would then be a subject, and then they would be graded on it. And so based on how they perform, it will be part of the when they will they be pass, or will they be promoted to the next grade. So that is middle school. So that is 6 through 8. So high school starts at grade 9 through 12, and interestingly, they do have kind of names for it. Um, so when you start um, the high school grade 9, they call it you're a freshman. When you start high school grade 9, and grade 10 they would call the sophomore. Grade 11 you be a junior, and then when you go to grade 12, then you become a senior. And when you get to university, they have the same principle. First, second, third, fourth year, they would also call it the latter that I just mentioned. In terms of the curriculum, let me go back to high school. In high school, you do, let's say English 1, 2, 3, and 4. So English 1 would be grades 9, English 2 would be grade 10, 11, and 12. And so I think you have, when you graduate, your senior certificate, you should have 27 credits. So it'll be math, and the math is they have geometry, trigonometry, algebra, etc. So there's different math components. So it's not just math. So they break math up into the different parts there. So in terms of the curriculum, I can speak to curriculum where elementary schools are concerned. A couple of years ago, somewhere around about 2011, 2012, they started something called Common Core. Common means right across the state. So what it actually means that what they found is that when a kid would live in North Carolina, or let's use us as an example, that a kid who would be taught in North Carolina a certain curriculum, but when the kid moves in that same year for whatever reason to New Mexico where we live, and the curriculum was different, and so the kid had to adjust to it, and then they introduced Common Core, which is kind of the alignment of the subject content across the country. But in terms of the resources and how you would support the curriculum, the schools or school systems, they would adopt different basals. A basal mean, like in math, they call it Envision, and different components. But you can support each subject in a different way through a different company that would present its content in that way. So that is how it's aligned. If I would say, and I've got a couple of seconds left, if I would say that how would a South African child perform if they would come to the US, I think they would find it easier, a primary school kid, because they have less subjects um, to compete. And then when Dylan and Waylon went to South Africa from here, they actually excelled in terms of with the maths and English was concerned. So that in a nutshell is it.